Hello everybody, good evening and welcome to the United Stand. This is your latest Manchester United news and transfer news. Hope you're all doing well. Erling Haaland is still a priority for Manchester United and still top of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's transfer list, especially next summer. Also, a couple of loan deals that nearly happened that are quite shocking, which we'll be talking about as well. United also had a closed game today. A lot of you people are internationals, but we've got the score and updates on that for you as well as a few other things to discuss. Also, it's Cristiano Ronaldo and Bruno playing tonight. I've dropped the link in the video description. We're doing a watch along. That's why we're doing a show here tonight at 7 o'clock, because at 8 o'clock I'll be on That's Football watching Cristiano Ronaldo, scouting Cristiano Ronaldo. If you want to do that on a watch along, That's Football. I'll be talking about Ronaldo, telling you what he's like these days, and he's not the player that he used to be, but the strengths and how we need to get the best out of him. So it's going to be a really good watch, that. But first of all, before I talk about Haaland and everything else we need to talk about, you may notice in the top left, I've also got a massive surprise for you as well. Which is funny when I say Manscaped, because it's not that. It's something not to do with Manscaped later in the show. But autumn is in the air and our friends at Manscaped are here to make sure you don't carve your trouser pumpkins when you're grooming. It's a Halloween joke. Make sure you're keeping things fresh this autumn with the leaders in male grooming and their brand new 4th generation performance package. Join over 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. 20% off and free worldwide shipping when you click the link in the description. So what's so great about the Lawnmower 4.0? Well, trim the grass to make the yards look bigger and use Manscaped to look after your family jewels, your balls. A new multifunctional on and off switch plus travel lock created for people who like to travel. The ability to turn the LED light spotlight on and off when needed for a more precision save. Don't want to touch my face with that. The new trimmer allows you to customize your trim all over through these additional guard lengths that you can put in and then roll down at different lengths. I go short. It's sleek with a two-toned matte and gloss finish, even featuring a hot foil stamped black chrome Manscaped logo, which is very fancy. Very, very fancy. And of course, its wireless charging system uses electromagnetic induction, which can help battery length last longer. Very, very fancy. Length lasting longer is something that's very good. Alongside the new Lawnmower 4.0, Manscaped have also launched their brand new performance package inside. That's come on again. You'll find the Lawnmower 4.0, obviously the Weed Whacker, the Crop Preserver, the Crop Reviver, and some very comfy boxer shorts and a travel bag. And because Manscaped care about everyone that watches the United Stand, they're giving you a huge 20% off plus free shipping worldwide when you click the link in the channel description. So what are you waiting for? Head over to the link in the video description. I always give a shout out to the Weed Whacker because it's for the more discerning gentleman, or as I would say, the more mature gentleman, because that's the person who starts to get nasal hair, and there's nothing worse being in a conversation you can feel one hanging down. So that's what the Weed Whacker is all about. Fantastic products, 20% off, links in the video description. Do give it a try, because for me, I use them a lot and they're very, very good. So well done to Manscaped. Thank you very much. Right, let's get on with the show. Links in the video description for that. So we're going to start off talking about Erling Haaland. There's a few things I want to talk about tonight, but I do want to start off talking about Erling Haaland because I'm just going to say I don't think this is going to happen. But a lot of people this morning, and I think it was Mark Ogden, who's a journalist, saying that Manchester United. Well, I'll tell you what he said. I've got it here. Let me just tell you what he actually said. So he has said this. He has said that Manchester United are undeterred by the fact that they've bought Cristiano Ronaldo. Now, we know Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is absolutely obsessed with Erling Haaland, and we'll talk about whether we need Erling Haaland in a minute. But this is quite interesting that this has come out the day after we've bought the transfer window is closed, where we've bought Cristiano Ronaldo. And ultimately, this is what Mark Ogden is saying, the journalist. He says, while the Ronaldo deal has left Manchester United with an abundance of attacking options, the long-term objective of Manchester United is still to sign Erling Haaland, and this has not been affected by the signing of Cristiano Ronaldo. Erling Haaland remains Manchester United's priority transfer target next summer, despite the club's financial outlay to re-sign Cristiano Ronaldo from Juventus. And although the deal to sign Ronaldo was financed outside of Manchester United's original summer transfer target budget, it will not impact on next year's recruitment plans and the ongoing effort to win the race for Erling Haaland. So, look, that's come out this morning. It was just after we'd done the morning show, so I couldn't really bring it in there. But I don't know what your thoughts are on that. Welcome to the Members Club Bog. I think it's quite interesting, actually, that that Manchester United would have some involvement somewhere, that story's been written. I mean, look, it could have been pulled out the arse of Mark Ogden, I don't know, but he has been right about things and wrong about things. But he's not the only one to still mention Manchester United and Erling Haaland. And to be honest with you, I actually don't see the point. And in a year's time, a lot of things can change. I mean, what if Ronaldo's crap or gets injured and Cavani is going to go? But I think we've got a big enough problem with Ronaldo and Cavani without Cavani going and then Haaland coming in. I mean, the finance. So you're telling, I mean, look, unless we're going to play two up front, but that makes buying Jadon Sancho pointless because you're going to have to play wing backs. And we've got the problem with playing two up front is, yes, you can play two strikers, but by playing two up front, it automatically means you're going to play a back five, which means you're going to play two attackers instead of three. And we normally play three. So just to accommodate strikers. So Cristiano Ronaldo and Cavani as a front two, we might see it, but I don't think it gets the best out of the players that we've got. Ali C, welcome to the United Stand Members Club. But I also think that Cristiano Ronaldo is going to be the GOAT for the next couple of years. He's going to be the main man, and that's the way it's going to be. And if you buy Erling Haaland, it's the same thing as I said about Cavani. They operate in the same spaces. They're number nines. They want to make the runs into the same areas. They want to attack the ball in the same areas. So, Cavani goes in a year's time. Cristiano Ronaldo's still here. We spend all of our transfer budget on Erling Haaland. It doesn't make sense. The amount of money that we will spend on Erling Haaland, you're talking a package of well over 150 million. I think his release clause is about 75, but you'll be paying a lot of money to Riola, you'll be paying a lot of money to Haaland, and you'll be paying a lot of money to other things as well. So it would be a huge amount of money to buy a striker who, for me, is a luxury. Now, I know I'm predicting next summer before we've even had this season, but the reality is, we're talking about midfields. What's the obsession with buying a striker at Manchester United? I don't know why look, Ronaldo's a one-off, and I'm over the moon with it, but I always said there's other areas in this team that need fixing before we buy a striker. And I totally understand why we went for Cristiano Ronaldo, and I'm over the moon like everybody else is. We had to do that deal. And by doing that deal, but it didn't matter where Cristiano Ronaldo played. It was about Ronaldo potentially going to City. It was about Ronaldo being one of the best players in the world. And it was about Ronaldo being our legend. He could have been a centre-back. He could have been a right-back. He could have been a left-back. We still would have had to do it. The fact that he's a striker should, hopefully, calm Ollie's obsession with buying a striker. Because we've now got this bonus superstar, world star striker in Cristiano Ronaldo. So why would we want Erling Haaland now? Well, Cavani's going to go in a year's time, yes, but Erling Haaland is going to cost a huge amount of money. And we've already got Cristiano Ronaldo. Mason Greenwood will be a year older. Maybe Charlie McNeil's coming through, or Joe Hugel. Or maybe, but buying Erling Haaland, two things worry me about this. One, I don't think we need him. Two, the money it would cost needs to be spent elsewhere, because if you do buy Erling Haaland, where is your money coming from for your midfielder or your centre defensive midfielder? So, I'm at this moment in time, I don't really give a shit about signing Erling Haaland. I think he's a fantastic player, but I don't think he's a player that we need to go and get. Now, things could change in a year, but just because Cavani's going doesn't mean we need to spend all our money on a Cavani replacement instead of the midfield. And that's the thing for me. We might need to bring a striker in next summer, but we don't need to spend £150 million to do it. We're spending a lot of money on Cristiano Ronaldo, and for me, Cristiano Ronaldo is our number 9 for the next 2 years. That's what we're buying. So we don't need to go and spend all our transfer budget on a striker next summer. That money needs to be spent elsewhere. Mark, I don't think United are ready for another Mino Raiola saga after what happened with Pogba, says Abra. I mean, look, on a positive, if you do want Erling Haaland, I would just say this. Ultimately, if Paul Pogba stays, you maintain a good relationship with Mino Raiola. But ultimately, if Pogba's going to go, I don't see why we would bring Erling Haaland in anyway. And what is really important is, I think Erling Haaland could well end up at Real Madrid now, because they've just bid £200 million for Kylian Mbappe and not bought him. They'll get Kylian Mbappe next summer for free, so they've still got £200 million to spend. I personally think that Real Madrid will spend that £200 million on Pogba and Haaland. And remember, Pogba will be free as well. So in a year's time, Real Madrid could have Haaland, Mbappe, Pogba. They've already got Camavinga. And I think that's more likely than us buying Erling Haaland. Who's that guy that is meant to be our future striker instead of Haaland? Mason something. Well, yes, Daniel Kirk. I mean, look, Manchester United had a game today. It was a behind closed doors game. In fact, before I tell you that, I'm excited to just show you something. You'll know that we do have our own t-shirt designs that we use, and we've done those many, many times before. And a lot of people have said, when are you going to do something for our new signing? Well, I can give you, the United Stand viewers, a peek of it today on YouTube, because it's about to come up on your screen now. The brand new design is out, and you can see it there in all its glory. Manchester United, there it is. Not Manchester United, the United Stand. That is our newest addition to our clothing range, and as you can see there, available in lots of different colours. I mean, to be fair, that one's pretty classy, isn't it? Also got that colour as well. That colour's quite nice as well. But the one I've got on order is that one. Also available in a t-shirt as well, with all our range, as you can see here. We've got the t-shirts, mugs, and everything else. But out today, in fact, it's only been out a few hours, and it's in the link in the video description. I think it's the third paragraph down. We do ship worldwide, and it is available for you to order now. So link is in the video description with that. Why is that up on there on YouTube? Why are they putting him up? Anyway, link in the video description, and it does ship worldwide. It's available in hoodies and as a t-shirt as well. The Queen has reserved the first 80 Ronaldo kits. I don't know what that's all about. If you're into the monarchy or anything like that, the Queen in the UK has apparently reserved the first 80 Ronaldo kits. I don't know what that's all about. I didn't even know she liked football, but there you go. Thank you for the super chat, Saga. And Haaland has the potential to become the best of the best, but please sort out the midfield first. Against Wolves, we saw how a player like Neves would transform us, says Dave King, motivational deep music. Well, look, I think you're right. I think next season, Manchester United need to buy a midfielder, and I think we all know that. But ultimately, I said this yesterday night on the transfer deadline day show, which was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. I did say, whatever happens, and we'll move on from Haaland in a moment, whatever happens in relation to Erling Haaland, I will guarantee you that we will be linked to him, and we will be in for him, even if we don't get him, because Mino Raiola will want us involved in that anyway to boost the price up. So we're going to be linked to Haaland. We're going to be doing videos about Haaland. We're going to be talking about Haaland all the way until he signs for somebody. And that will happen. I just hope we don't buy him, because the amount of money we will spend on him could be better spent elsewhere. We've got Ronaldo. Mason Greenwood will be a year older, and we need to rebuild the midfield. And also, the biggest thing is, if Erling Haaland decides to come to Manchester United or Manchester City next summer, in 3 years' time, when he's in his mid-20s, he'll be going to Real Madrid or Barcelona anyway. And then in 3 years' time from that, he'll be going to Juventus. That is what he's going to do, because that is what Mino Raiola wants to do with him, because that's how Mino Raiola and Erling Haaland make a lot of money. So he's not going to sign for United and spend a decade with us becoming a legend. He is... Erling Haaland is already a football club himself. He's a football club, and his manager is Mino Raiola. Erling Haaland FC. Because that's what Mino Raiola does with those types of players. He did it with Zlatan, and he's going to do it with Haaland. He's trying to build another Zlatan, where a player becomes a brand in their own right, and they move around clubs bigger than the clubs in the eyes of Raiola and the player, and he won't be at his next club for longer than 3 years. And that's probably why I don't think Pep Guardiola will go anywhere near him. But I think Pep will still go for Kane. Madrid will probably go for him, but Man United might go for him as well. Ollie's obsessed with Erling Haaland, so you've got to add that into the equation. I don't think we'll go for him. I think it's a bad business move. I don't think we need him. I think it's very expensive, and I think he'll be gone in 3 years anyway, and we need to spend that money on the midfield. But you've always got to throw into the equation, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is obsessed with Erling Haaland, and we've always known that. If we buy Haaland, by the time Ronaldo retires, Haaland will be planning his next move already, says Ali. That's probably a very good point, Ali, actually. A very good point. We've done that one from Ali. I think there will be a statue of Ronaldo if he wins as a league or a Champions League. Oh, mate, I agree. Ramon. I've said this yesterday. Cristiano Ronaldo has already done a massive amount of work for Manchester United in his first spell at the club. If he comes back and wins us the Champions League or the Premier League, I can't think of a player that's done that before. I know Mark Hughes came and went back, and other players have come back, but Ronaldo achieved so much the first time. If he can anywhere near get that, then he will have legendary. He's already got legendary status. He could become an all-time legendary status. The issue with decoding Haaland is the player himself. He's too quiet about his preferences, unlike Mbappe. It depends on where Raiola wants him. Been trying to get a player at Real City for a while, says Urim. And keep an eye on João Palhinha tonight in Portugal, same, says Josh. We are going to be doing a watch-along. That's why we're doing a 7 o'clock show tonight. We are going to do a watch-along, and I've dropped the link in the video description for that. So when this is finished, you can join over there. Palhinha is a good player, but United didn't scout him. Basuma is a good player, but United didn't scout. Well, they did scout him, but he wasn't on the list. So, scouting CDMs. I liked Palhinha in the Euros, but United. I don't know. I don't know what United are going to do in relation to midfielders. I do know what United did today. I mean, it's not massive. It was a game. It was a game they had at Old Trafford behind closed doors. It was against Stoke City. They lost 4-3. But remember, a lot of players are on international duty. The team that started the game was Heaton in goal, Delot at right back, Jones, Mengi, Fernandes from the youth setup, Matic and Donny, and then it was Hannibal, Mata, Greenwood, Cavani. Now, we lost 4-3, and ultimately, Donny played well, Delot played well, Greenwood and Cavani played well, and everyone else put a good shift in. So, Michael Carrick was the coach as well. Apparently, Ollie didn't coach the game, so it's a behind closed doors game. But it's good. It's good in the case of people like Donny and Matic that they get some game time. It doesn't feel right to me that Mason Greenwood and Edison Cavani are playing in games like that when it's an international week. Mason Greenwood should be playing for England, and obviously Cavani should be playing for Uruguay, but he's decided not to do it. So, that's the story of that game today. Apparently, Delot played quite well. I'm surprised Delot's not in the Portuguese squad, because he was in the Portuguese squad for the Euros and did really well. But he's not in there again. I only thought about that just now, so that was a bit of a weird one. But he's had a bit of game time, Donny. Let's see. I think we're going to have to keep an eye on that one. Certainly will get mentioned in the press conference a week on Friday for the Newcastle game, I think. But then again, it might not do, because we can already imagine that all the journalists are going to be obsessed about Cristiano Ronaldo, aren't they? Welcome to the Members Club Cigar. Get your questions in, by the way. We've got Mason, box clever, bypass Haaland and grab Bellingham, says Gaza. And we are probably the only club that doesn't need Haaland, would rather invest that 75 million in a world-class CDM, says Little. Look, I'll say it right now. In a year's time, something might happen. You don't know if someone's going to have a complete career change. I don't mean Harry Maguire's going to decide he wants to work as a bank manager, but what I'm saying is a player that's good now could suddenly lose their form. They could get a bad injury. You don't know. So we might desperately need another centre-back next summer. We might desperately need another right-back. We don't know. But at the moment, we need midfielders, and that's where the money needs to be spent. And I don't want it to be spent on Erling Haaland. But, it doesn't matter what I want. It doesn't matter what you want. It's going to be what Ollie wants. And, there is a danger that we could go all in for Erling Haaland. But one thing I would say about that before I move it is, if we did get Erling Haaland, he won't touch the sides of the global appeal of what Cristiano Ronaldo has. Erling Haaland's not a massive brand yet. And I don't think he will be until he plays for a Real Madrid or a Manchester United. He's a massive talent in the footballing world, but his actual personality and everything, he's not done it yet. And the Portugal game kicks off at quarter to 8, so I'm not going there yet, thanks. People are going, Portugal game, Mark. I think I know when it kicks off, and I think I know when I'm on the watch along. So links to the video description for that. It doesn't kick off for another 20 minutes, so we're all right. Do you think Delot will get more games than Aaron Wan-Bissaka in games against lower teams which sit back, so that Ronaldo can get more services with crosses, says Vinny? I want to see Delot given some game time. We were talking about it, weren't we? That I actually think, for all these stupid theories that you could play Eric Bailly as a CDM, or Tellez as a CDM, or Lindelof as a CDM, I actually think Delot could, if you were going to pick anybody, Delot's got the right centre of gravity and body movement to actually play in the midfield. You can tell if somebody's a midfielder. Like Tony Adams was never a midfielder. Rio Ferdinand was never going to be a midfielder. Their body shape isn't right. And what I mean by that, it's their body shape on the ball. To be a midfielder, you've got to be grounded, good core, both sides, mobile. Vidic could never have played in the midfield either. They were world-class centre-backs. Gary Neville could never have played in the midfield really effectively. It's a specialist position. It's like asking somebody to play up front. Just because they play closer to that position, all right, there's a better chance they can do it. But I think Dalot could play in there as well. But I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think we're going to mould somebody into something. I think what you've got to remember about that, and I'm glad I remembered to tell you, is for everybody who's thinking we could play Lindelof there, we could play Dalot there, we could play Telles there, you're assuming that the manager thinks there's a problem. If the manager starts playing Lindelof there, it's very obvious that he thinks there's a major problem in that midfield. Well, if there was a major problem in that midfield in his head, do you not think he would have prioritised that position? We've just come out of a transfer window and we didn't prioritise a holding midfielder. We might have liked to get one, but we didn't get one, and it wasn't a priority. So I think there's absolutely zero chance you're going to see Lindelof as a holding midfielder or Dalot as a holding midfielder, because that would evidence that Ollie is desperate. And he's not desperate because he didn't prioritise that area. We're going to see Matic, Fred or McTominay in that role, aren't we? That's what we're going to see. He has got 3 choices. Cancelo from City got COVID, so they called up Dalot. Dalot didn't make the initial Euro squad, says YUFC. Oh, so he's back out again now because of Cancelo. Okay. Phil Jones is our new number 6, says Jack. And Phil Jones deserves a second chance, says Jose Mourinho. Oh, mate, look, this is a football channel. It's not about anything else other than football. And Phil Jones deserves to go and play football elsewhere because he's not good enough for United, is my stance. I mean, I feel sorry for him because of his injury record, but he's earned good money out of United. He's had a very, very long stay at Manchester United. And in the last 5 years, when I've actually seen him play, he's been very poor. I don't think he deserves a second chance. He's been here 10 years. I think I want him to get fit and go. I want him to get a football career, but I don't think it's going to be at Manchester United. So, we can't be sympathy FC. We've got to be Manchester United FC. And, people say you're being harsh. I never understand this. Like, my football education is Sir Alex Ferguson. Sir Alex Ferguson was Manchester United manager before, I was barely out of nappies when he became Manchester United manager. So, my whole life, in my formative years, were listening to Sir Alex Ferguson, watching Sir Alex Ferguson. He was obsessive and aggressive and ruthless. And he didn't keep players at this club. Even if they were good enough, he'd get rid of them if they were a problem. Ruud van Nistelrooy was kicked out of the club because there was a bit of a problem there with Ronaldo. Jaap Stam was kicked out of the club when he was in his prime because of a book he wrote. David Beckham was kicked out of the club because the media lifestyle was getting too much. Sir Alex Ferguson was ruthless. And it makes me laugh when you see people, sometimes in our chat, but mainly on social media, when you have a strong opinion, they go, oh, you're not very supportive, you're not a United fan. And I genuinely do have a little giggle to myself, which is a bit sad, but I do, because I go, these people, these super fans who are telling me I can't have an opinion that player's not good enough, and I don't support the club properly because I don't think that player's good enough. They're telling me I'm not a United fan. Where have they been? Have they just started supporting the club in 2014? Did they actually support the club under Sir Alex Ferguson? Or did they just not used to watch the bits where he was ranting and raving on the touchline, or he was getting rid of players that weren't good enough, or he was in a press conference shouting, or he was in a after match thing saying that's a bloody disgrace? I don't know where these fans were when we had Sir Alex Ferguson. It's almost like they had their heads buried up their own arse. How do you think we were successful then? Do you think we used to just walk into the middle of the pitch and high-five the opposition and the ref and everybody and go, don't worry if we're getting screwed over, ref, everything's fine? We had one of the most relentless, obsessive, aggressive, passionate managers there's ever been. And he knew about ruthlessness and he knew about aggression. And you've got to have that in competitive sport. So, for me, Phil Jones is one of many players that wouldn't even be at this football club anymore under Sir Alex Ferguson. Now, yeah, Sir Alex could be sentimental. There were players that he kept at the club that I think some of us thought he should have got rid of. But in the main, he wouldn't pick them because he knows he needed to win. So, look, we do need to be more ruthless. And I don't think we were ruthless enough in the summer transfer window. I think we've kept 1 or 2 players at the club this summer that really should have been shown the door. But we bought 1 or 2 players in this transfer window that I think are 2 of the best players we've bought in about a decade. Probably since Van Persie. I don't think we've had a signing like Ronaldo and Varane since Van Persie. And I know we've bought Pogba, and I know we've bought Luke Shaw, and I know we've bought Harry Maguire, and I know we've bought Bruno Fernandes, and they're all brilliant signings. Like, Bruno's a brilliant signing. You know, Pogba's a brilliant signing. Maguire's been a brilliant signing. But Van Persie was a world-class signing. And I think with Ronaldo and Varane, we've actually bought world-class. Pogba was teetering on world-class when we got him for Juventus, but Bruno wasn't world-class when we bought him from Sporting, and Harry wasn't world-class when we bought him from Leicester. These two signings, I think, are up there. They're the best two we've bought since... And look, Jadon's not world-class yet either. I'd put Jadon in the same category as a Pogba or a Bruno, that they are top-class and they've got the potential to be world-class, but Ronaldo and Varane, they're world-class signings. That I don't think we've had a signing like that since Van Persie. I mean, Zlatan's very different though, isn't he? I mean, he was younger than Ronaldo, but I think it was very obvious that Zlatan was further down the end of his career than Ronaldo is. Ronaldo's fitness levels are way better than Zlatan, and Zlatan, who's particularly fit, he's still playing now. But of course, Ronaldo is on a different planet to Zlatan ability-wise. And look, Zlatan was a good signing, but he really struggled in the Premier League. Like, it was too quick for him. People were playing a very high line. Anyway, let's not get into that. How come when Ollie came in, we sold so many players when he got here, and ever since we've been handing out contracts to players we don't need anymore, says Lital. And I would take him back at Blackburn Rovers, Phil Jones, Ozan. I hope he can get a move. I think Derby would be good for him as well. Mark, just wanted to ask, who is your front three against Newcastle? For me, Mason can't be dropped, so he plays with Sancho and Ronaldo. Yeah, definitely. I'd go Sancho, Greenwood and Ronaldo. But obviously Cavani is going to be very fit for that game. Rashford won't be back. Pogba could go to the left, I suppose. He might not start Ronaldo, you know. He might not start Ronaldo. We'll have to wait and see what happens with that. But he might not start. Oh, just actually with Sancho, though, just to add in, he's not playing for England tomorrow. Southgate said today that he was talking about his squad, and Sancho has had a knock. So he might not be available. We'll have to see how debilitating that knock is. Sancho started the season quite slow for Dortmund last year, so maybe it's going to take him a bit of time to get going. But I don't know what Ollie's going to do. I'm definitely intrigued. Ronaldo has to start. You don't spend that much money on that much of a legend and put him on the bench. I don't. You know what? I don't even want to see him on the bench. I didn't like seeing Varane sat on the bench against Southampton. It felt disrespectful. And I think a lot of people agreed with it. And I'm not saying Ollie was wrong to do it, but to me, a player of that quality shouldn't be sat on the bench. I didn't like Varane sat on the bench. So I certainly don't want to see Cristiano Ronaldo sat on the bench. He's going to play 3 games over this international break, one of them in about 15 minutes' time. He's fit. If he's fit, he plays. He's the best player we've got. He's got to play. So Ronaldo's got to play for me. But Sancho, keep your eye on that. There is a bit of an injury issue there, so we'll have to wait and see. Please smash a like on the video. A couple of things I need to tell you. We are going to do a watch along, and it's going to kick off very, very soon. And the link is in the video description for you there in relation to that. Also, Cristiano Ronaldo is obviously going to be playing in this game, which is the most important thing. So my plan in that game is that we will. I'm just going to watch the game. You can watch it with me if you want to, and it's going to be sort of analysing his movements, because I think a lot of people still think that Cristiano Ronaldo is a player that can still skip past 4 or 5 players and is explosively quick. So I think it's going to be a useful scouting mission for people who don't really, who are excited by Ronaldo but maybe haven't watched a lot of Ronaldo recently. So make sure you click the link in the video description and join us for that. I think it's going to be a really interesting video there. Also, we've got the Manscaped. Make sure you use the 20% discount. We do ship worldwide. Thank you very much to Manscaped. Links in the video description for those, of course. Fantastic products. The trimmer, the nasal trimmer, fantastic. You won't look back once you've used those. I'm telling you, trim the grass to make the yard look bigger, definitely. And of course, my little exclusive thing I wanted to just show you, which you can get through the link in the video description as well, is our new design that we've got out for you now to commemorate the signing of Ronnie. and you can get it in. This is the one I've ordered as well. Classic design, out today. Link in the video description. We do ship worldwide, and if you don't fancy the hoodie, we do it in a t-shirt as well, which you can see here, in lots of different colours. Shipping worldwide. Link is in the video description for you for that. And thanks everybody for... Oh, what am I doing here? I'm terrible at this. Thanks everybody for tuning in. You're very, very, very welcome. I'm back on the screen now. Yeah, and join us on the watch along. That's football. Links in the video description for that as well. I'll see you over there watching Ronaldo. Thanks for watching. Oh, sorry, got a couple of super chats here. Nick P says, these latest signings are great and they do show Ollie's changed his mindset a little bit. The mantra was young English talent, not full-on Galactico. Good point, Nick P. And if by a miracle Pogba does sign a new contract, what will our transfer targets look like in January? Just Haaland and maybe a CDM, says Oz. Yeah, I think Haaland becomes more likely if we keep Pogba, because that means we've got a good relationship with Raiola. I just don't want to spend the money on Haaland. I want to spend it on a midfield. But there we go. I'll see you on the watch along anyway. Links in the video description. I'm going over there in a minute.